Hello guys, Gan friends here. Let's prove real quick that the derivative of sin x is cosine x. We are going to use the definition of derivative to prove this point. The definition of derivative is a limit as h approaches 0, f of x plus h minus f of x out of h. This one is the definition of derivative, and this is the formula we are going to use to prove that the derivative of sin x is cos x. Let's get right in. Limit as h approaches 0 sine x plus h minus sine x out of h. So what you're going to do here is to remember you need to remember an identity in trigonometry that sine a plus b is equal to sine a cosine b plus sine b cosine a. So if we apply this identity to our problem, we are going to get limit as h approaches 0 sine of h cosine x plus sine of x cosine h minus, you don't need to forget this, minus sine x out of h. Now you need to divide h, you need to put the denominator on both sides of your problem here. You can say limit as h approaches 0 sine h cosine x out of h, and then plus sine x cosine h minus sine x out of h. If you can see here, you can factorize some things out. Limit as h approaches 0 cosine x outside sine h out of h plus sine x outside cosine h minus 1 out of h. Now that you have factorized some things out, you need to use the rules of limits, that you can say cosine x limit as h approaches 0 sine h out of h plus sine x limit as h approaches 0 cosine h minus 1 out of h. So here you also need to remember some trigonometric identities that are very important. First, the first identity is that limit as x approaches 0 sine x out of x is equal to 1. Alright, this is the first identity that you should know by now. And then the second identity is limit as x approaches 0 cosine x minus 1 out of x is equal to 0. This one is also very important, and you should also know it by now. Having these things in mind, we can apply them to our problem and get our solution. So sine h out of h is the same as sine x out of x. These things are the same as this. Alright, so that means it will be cosine, and since this one amounts to 1, it will be cosine times 1 plus sine x, and this one also amounts to 0 times 0. Anything multiplied by 0 is always 0, so this one will go, it will be 0. And then anything multiplied by 1, it's just that thing, like cosine x times 1 is just cosine x. That means it will be cosine x, and this will be the final answer. We have gotten our final answer. So thank you for watching, and I would be glad to see you subscribe to my YouTube channel and sharing it to your friends so that they can also benefit from this. You can also push that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I post a new video. Now let me make a quick overview in case you didn't catch up with the speed. The first thing that we did, which is quite unique here, is that we have used a trigonometry identity to solve this. Alright, this one is one of the things you have to remember. A lot of students always get it wrong because they forget this identity. They don't even remember that it is necessary. Alright, so the second thing you don't need to forget are these two identities, because later you're going to arrive at this point when you remember that you have to factorize out these things and then arrive at this point. You have to remember that these identities are of very important use, like this